Hey everyone, welcome back to the Wimpy Studio, and today we are here to talk all about the new movie that came out on HBO Max a few weeks back, Wonder Woman 1984, and I'm here to talk about it with my dad, mduhzay.
Hey everybody.
So, Wonder Woman 1984, so this is, what do you classify as like a sequel?
Yeah, this is definitely Wonder Woman number 2. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if people refer to it by that, but it's definitely a sequel.
Yeah, the title is Wonder Woman 1984. So, yeah, we're just going to be breaking it down. It came out on Christmas Day. It came out in theaters too, and on HBO Max, but we watched it on HBO Max. We got it for a month free. So, if there's any other
No,
content,
not a month free. We paid for it for a month.
we paid for it.
And
For
then we canceled.
we paid it for a month, but we wish we could get it for a month free, but we don't think there's any other content we need to watch on there, right?
Well, I want to watch like Titans
Yeah.
with you. So, which is the live action version of Teen Titans. They've had 2 seasons.
Okay. Okay, so the title will start with 1984. So what do you think that means to you, just like that year?
Yeah, it definitely has the 1984 vibe. I mean, people are dressed that particular way. All the style and the music has that kind of feel of 1984, which I remember because I would have been a freshman, sophomore in high school back then.
We have the characters. We have Diana, who's the Wonder Woman. You can call her that. Barbara, and she's kind of like the kind of nerdy. What do you say?
Yeah, she's definitely kind of geeky, socially awkward. Yeah.
And then we have Maxwell, who's the villain supposed to be.
Yeah, he's the villain for the most part, and definitely not a typical villain. And the actor is the same actor who plays Mando.
Yeah, except he looks way different.
Well, he doesn't have his helmet on.
Yeah. Well, also he's not. It's not as good looking, I would say. What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah, he's definitely. They kind of have him playing a politician or a televangelist kind of role. He's a salesman, con man. So yeah,
Yeah. So then Steve's in it too.
the return of Steve
and
Trevor.
we don't have much. We'll talk about him later, but we have an intense opening scene to start off the movie.
I loved it.
And it was pretty good. I liked it. I loved it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. It was a scene where Diana was competing against adult women in some sort of kind of Olympic kind of games type of thing, and it was really intense and really good. I loved it. I heard that the studio, the network, Warner Brothers wanted to cancel that opening scene. I'm like, what? That opening scene was amazing. So
Yeah.
anyway, that was one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie.
It would have ruined it. I mean, it provided good backstory with like Diana wanting to win, but she.
Well, and also truth. That was referencing to truth all the way through the movie.
Yeah, and then she cheated, but it's also like she's competing against older people, so I don't know. It must be hard on like a girl like that. So Diana saves a girl from getting dropped by a criminal at the mall, which I thought was interesting. A little bit sloppy, but it was fine. What do you think?
Yeah, it was a second opening scene. So really, the movie had 2 openings. I liked the first one much better. If they had to drop one, I would have said drop the second one. I didn't think that was completely necessary.
Yeah, but we had Diana meets Barbara, and they're pretty much complete opposites. So, but they do start to get along, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I think Barbara desires a friendship with Diana. Diana's not sure if that's something that she wants. They're definitely opposites, as you said, and it's very awkward, very cringy there for a bit. Barbara's definitely socially awkward.
And the thing is that it's awkward. By the end, it reaches a point where it's like now then they're at odds by the end. We'll talk about that. So Barbara becomes friends with Maxwell. They have a little makeout session, but then she sees this stone on Maxwell's desk. So what do you think of all that?
Well, Maxwell sees the stone on Barbara's desk.
Sorry.
But Maxwell is not really interested in her. He's interested in the stone. The stone has a lot of origin. The stone I read this morning is connected into the Sandman comics, and so that stone was a part of that, which is also in the greater DC universe. So that's where they pulled that from, was the Sandman comics. Yeah, so the stone was the key to the entire movie. It was the enemy or the villain of the story. The god who created the stone is the real villain of the story.
Mm-hmm. Diana gets reunited with Steve Trevor. He originally died prior to the movie, but then she got him back
Because of a wish from the stone.
Yeah, so he's here.
But the one thing was kind of weird. I don't know what you thought of this. It was the actor playing it, but everybody who looked at the boyfriend, it wasn't the body of Steve Trevor. It was like he embodied someone else's body. It was kind of weird. I didn't really quite understand why they did that, but I'm sure I just haven't thought it through well enough. But.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, like you said. But by the end, he ends up dying again. So
yeah, he ends up dying again because she had to. What was the wording they used? Their lie. They had to take back their wish.
Yeah,
take back their wish, and so therefore the wish is what brought him back, and so therefore when she recanted her wish or whatever, Steve went bye
bye. Oh, but we did have. We talked about at the end that certain sections of the movie we thought were good, like the ending we thought was really good. But one scene that you said was awful was the car scene, with like the fight on the road, and what. So,
so they played the same music as the intense battle scene in the first Wonder Woman movie, when she charged across the battlefield, and that was a really cool scene. And so they played the same music, so I think they were trying to duplicate this idea of an intense fight scene, and it just really didn't come together. I didn't think a car chase with a bunch of cars and military vehicles provided the right context. It didn't seem like the stakes were high enough to warrant that much time and energy in the film. But
it definitely was like pretty long, I would say.
It was very long, and it seemed sloppy. But.
Yeah. And like I said, like with that mall scene, there are just certain parts of this movie. While it's a good movie, there are just some sloppy parts. The ending I did like, how like after everything that happened, we see the person who, like when Steve came back, but there's like a different guy, almost like he turned into Steve, he like morphed that body, like you were saying earlier. Well, he's like now like the original person, and him and Diana almost seem to be getting along a little bit by the end. So that'll be interesting to see if that is anything,
Mm-hmm.
But Maxwell, a little side plot is that his son Alistair he's trying to get along with. So, but by the end, he kind of gets reconnected with him, sort of, which I thought was a good moment. And then we do finally, I think Barbara finally stands out by the end.
Yeah, and her interesting arc of becoming Cheetah, the main villain of Wonder Woman in the comics. It took too long to get there, and I felt like that was just really a closing scene. She became Cheetah. Now, I'd be very curious to what happens in future films. I assume that she would lose her Cheetah powers, but we'll see. Yeah, but she ends up coming. I assume. I mean, they really didn't say it. She didn't recant her wish, but I think so. But the main character arc that I loved was Maxwell Lord. He ends up doing an about face and becomes a good dad at the end. At least that impression. So there was some redemption in his story. I liked it a lot. How the way they did his story, even though I didn't feel like it was very effective in the middle of the film, by the end it made sense.
Mm-hmm. Our overall grade. What was your overall grade for the movie?
I gave it a B.
I gave it a B too. We gave it it was. I mean, it obviously wasn't as good as necessarily, of course, The Mandalorian, of course, but it was decent.
Yeah, and I didn't like it as much as the first Wonder Woman. The first Wonder Woman, I think I get an A minus. This I gave a B.
So we have some news. Wonder Woman 3 is going to be directed by Patty Jenkins.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
That is going to be. I'm not sure when. Haven't
After
announced.
Rogue Squadron.
I'm assuming, but yeah. So that's announced. Patty Jenkins will be directing. So yeah,
Cool. That's good news. That's good news. I'd be curious to see what kind of story they put together for the third movies after the second one. I don't know if it'll be modern day, and I assume Steve Trevor is gone for good. But hey,
You never
who
know.
knows?
I don't know, and maybe there'll be a love triangle between Diana and Steve and that other guy.
You and your love triangles.
But anyways, I want to thank everyone for watching these video. Want you to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your post notification center as a video. Thanks everyone for watching, and bye.
See ya.